Well, it's morning in the UK, early evening at the Robina Stadium on the outskirts of the Gold Coast, and we are just about ready for the first game in the evening session. Wales against Sri Lanka. Wales coming off the back of their opening victory, 31-5 over Uganda. Sri Lanka with a heavy defeat, as expected, against Fiji, perhaps the tournament favourites, 63-5. Did score a try, but Wales will certainly start this game as favourites. Their real test will come later in this session against Fiji in the final pool game. 4 pools in the men's competition, and Wales and Sri Lanka in Pool D here with Fiji and Uganda.
Let's go!
Let's go is the cry, and out onto the pitch. This very, very good playing surface, and this wonderful stadium holds about 27,000, and there might be close to that later on. And Wales against Fiji. Wales, once a few years ago, back in 2009, won the World Cup of Sevens, and they're starting tonight. Rokavareni of Fiji is the referee. And they're starting tonight pretty much with their sevens experts. They have got some 15s players who have been parachuted in, the likes of Justin Tipuric, Halle Amos, who are on the bench for this one. But these are really their core sevens players who are starting, led by their captain Adam Thomas. And alongside me for this one, former sevens expert player himself, expert co-commentator Rob Vickerman. Looking forward to this one.
Very much so indeed. First glance of this revitalised Welsh Sevens team. Looking forward to see how they're going to go. Some experience with a bit of X factor on the bench as well.
Did it go 10? It did, just from Ethan Davis. And, Sri Lanka on the charge. In the white, they look a little bit like the Fijian side in those strips. They do not perhaps quite play like the Fijians, and Wales with the first chance to attack here. And it is Ethan Davis who gets it out to Morgan Williams, and Williams the support outside, and then the handoff is strong, and the run is good from Luke Morgan, and Morgan so dangerous already, showing that threat, can't quite get there. Good covering tackle by Surayara Chichi.
Well, how about that? What an effort. Surayara Chichi showing Luke Morgan's got the pace and power past many, but not past him. If you combine the likes of Trehan, Ethan Davis and Luke Morgan, you're going to get opportunity. We've seen how good they've been in this tournament so far.
Yeah, Morgan so dangerous, top try scorer for Wales in sevens. Injured his knee just before Rio. And Sri Lanka safely gather the line out. Oh, and an opportunity here. Out and free and looking for support, and the pass is good as well. And then the step, but the tackle was also strong, it had to be. And Sri Lanka still with ball though, and carried on by Wijikun, who scored the try against Fiji, and Wijikun is away, is he? Yes, he will score again. So the first try of this first game in the evening session goes to Sri Lanka. Wales shocked early on. I'm sure they will come back and come back strongly, but Sri Lanka, good moment for them, and Wijikun again with that score. He scored in the 63-5 defeat against Fiji, and he's got the opener here.
And he gave the old stop-start. So difficult to defend that when the attacker stops in front of you. You naturally decrease your pace. Luke Morgan there getting absolutely wheels. That is a great start. So much is said about this developing Sri Lankan team. They're trying to get investment in place to develop these players. And in Wijikun, they have one of the candy players who clearly can do some damage.
We have different verbs in sevens. The conversion is good. Drop goal conversions in sevens, different verbs. He got wheelsed. I wheels, you wheels, he, she, it wheelsed. But he did on the outside. It was a lovely step. And I say stop, start, go again. Wijikun with a pace to go down the outside. So Sri Lanka 7-0 to the good. And the side that scores in sevens takes the restart. Down the middle they go. On a bit of a mistake there. And seized upon by Dharmapala. But then lost their opportunity for Wales to counter, to respond. fed out by Treharne, another very experienced sevens player. A bit of a juggle, but then gathered by Ethan Davis. And Davis now through the gap, looking for support outside, and finds it from Adam Thomas. Thomas, the captain, trying to bulldoze his way through. It's much smaller men on the Sri Lankan side. Wales closing in, stepping and scoring the try through Ben Roach. So Wales hit back almost immediately.
You can see the damage the fast men do out wide, but equally the big boys like to go direct. First Adam Thomas down that right-hand side, shifted across from Treharne. And his route one doesn't need to be any more difficult than that. If you get that inside step, beat that inside defender. Dharapala tried to get that cover tackle, but Roach, well versed in midfield, trying to step people. His weight just too heavy for these Sri Lankans.
It's interesting, in our team sheets we've got the official weights and heights conversion goes over 7 points apiece, and the Sri Lankan side, we've got 3 players in the squad. They're listed as 5'1". There is one who's down as 55 kilos, Dharapala, who's on the pitch, which is about 120 pounds or so. So it's and again, in sevens, that's not the be-all and end-all, but if you've got a bit of extra weight, you can still use it. Great take at the restart, works well for Wales, and carried on by Morgan Williams now.
Hands up.
And Sri Lanka were just caught a little bit at that restart. In possession of the ball again, vital in sevens. Little slip from Thomas to Ethan Davis, and then bounce off by Ben Roach. Roach again, and has support, and Wales score one more time through their captain Adam Thomas. And just finding their rhythm now, Wales.
There goes the ball. Gets the horns up. And again, it's the 2 men we mentioned before. Roach slamming off the defence. Get off me. Chaman Radas just not able to keep hold. And one little inside ball to his fellow Bash brother. Thomas going through the middle. A 13 in the game of 15s. Outside centre, believe it or not. He's a big boy. And he's there in support of his fellow prop. His known celebration.
Either the bull or slightly satanic. Conversion goes through, and Wales move out to the 7-point lead.
I do think there's perhaps a little bit of gamesmanship citing 5'1", but restart's clearly not going to benefit if you are quite small.
Works this time. Sri Lankan player flung into the air to take it down well, but then
that's unplayable.
Let's see, Wales get the ball, get the put in at the scrum.
10 weight, you're off.
Well, just to elaborate your point there, cited on our sheets, Soyari Chichi gets lifted partly because he's 65 kilograms, but the downside of being that light is it's so easy to hold you up in rugby sevens. If you keep them in the air and they don't let their knee hit the floor, then it's deemed a maul, collapse maul, turnover ball.
Soyari Chichi was being hurled around like a doll. And Wales' opportunity to show what they can do in attack once again, and this time breaking through it is Morgan Williams, and Wales will score again. They're scoring at will now. And Morgan Williams of the Scarlets goes through. And after that early shock of that try for Wijikun for Sri Lanka, 3 fairly quick-fire tries for Wales.
Yeah, and this shows the quality of Morgan Williams. First and foremost, breaking the line, but what a wonderful step on the sweeper. The man in behind, the person trying to mop up all the line breaks, did not get one finger on Morgan Williams. Still waiting for this man to kick on for the Scarlets. Such his prominence on the sevens pitch. He's a wonderfully talented player, and someone this Wales team need to try and keep hold in their system. It's always the downfall of Wales that they don't get the players for long, but he's just 22 years young.
3 tries, 3 converted tries, and Wales well in control now. Once again, it's Soyari Chichi who's flung high to try and gather it, can't quite get it, so Surya Bandara takes it down and then laid back as the hooter sounds by their captain, Uthuthantar. And Sri Lanka under pressure, but trying to run right until the death here, and they might have an opportunity. Lovely step and balance and carry by Wijikun once again. Dangerous player for Sri Lanka, but then loose. And again, we remind you, tries can happen very, very quickly in sevens, and Wales might have the final score in this first half, and they will. They'll stretch out to another one right under the post, and the elaborate dive from Owen Jenkins gets in.
Jenkins A regular on the 7 series. That's another interesting celebration. Look forward to finding out what that means. But Jenkins, a real personality. He's managed to find his feet a bit in the 7s game. Love a good dive in the game of 7s. And there we're seeing him enjoying every single minute. Maybe referenced Adam Thomas, perhaps.
We're now interpreting celebrations. Excellent. Conversion is good again, so 4 tries in that first half, all converted for Wales. And as I said, after that early little blip with the try for Sri Lanka through Wijekun, it is Wales who are dominating. They lead at half-time, 28 points to 7.
Yes, we feel we're a million miles away from it, okay? However, that's where we put them. That's where we squeeze the pressure, okay? That's where we can go up to. All good? Okay, 2 changes. Harlem on for Moggs, please. Lenny on for Luke, all right?
Side channels, we've got to cover each other.
We see a couple of changes being made by Wales at half-time. Harlem Amos is coming on.
Make those tackles first up. You've got to make those tackles. Be hungry. You've got to be committed. Support them. And give me a quickly at the ruck.
A few, let's say, stats for you to put over. It's just the scoring stats. So Wales in a good position. We remind you that Wales with their opening win over Uganda, 31-5, and Sri Lanka lost heavily to Fiji, 63-5. The big game in this pool, and it is only one team that goes through from the 4 pools to the semi-finals. It's really ruthless. On the World Sevens series, no, she's not going to be a girl apparently. It is the top 2 that go through and contest quarterfinals, but here is just 1 through to semi-finals, so it's very, very hard going indeed, especially with Wales being in the pool of Fiji. In any other competition, Wales would expect to go through from this pool to quarterfinals and try their luck here. But that game against Fiji for Wales is in about 4 hours' time. Sri Lanka here. And see what they can fashion from this second half. Ratwati with the restart, and Wales rather misjudged the lifter.
Well, we're getting an absolute masterclass of restarts here, Andrew. If you get the ball in the air for around about 3.5 to 4 seconds, imagine being able to run underneath that. These players are very, very quick, only getting 12, 13 metres. They'll do that in about 1.5 seconds. So give the time for the lifters, we can see. A big tactic is trying to throw your player in the air so they can't be touched. But it's difficult to get your timing right.
Coach. Bind. Set.
In 7's training, they practice those restarts over and over again. Wales putting good pressure on Sri Lanka, the scrum, and securing the ball. Rather loose one, but gathered up by Halemos on the pitch. One of those players coming in from the more the 15s game. Penalty to Wales. Quickly taken by Angus O'Brien. So Wales on the front foot once again. And Adam Thomas shifts the direction of play. Long looping pass. And Sri Lanka caught out as it's carried on by Thomas Williams. But then good covering tackle. And again, the largely Australian crowd has decided to go with the underdog for this match, and a big cheer to greet that tackle.
Well, and rightly so. I mean, these are not big men, but they're putting shots in, belying their weight. There, Piero's really putting the shoulder in. You've got to have momentum tackling the big men, and he certainly had that. This Sri Lankan team really have developed. I mean, they were miles off the pace previously.
On comes, not those two, but Justin Tipperick, who has sneaked onto the pitch. It's not a real hair colour. And you see Tipperick there, number 10. He's not a great season with the Ospreys, and this was a real desire of his to play at a major competition, Sevens rugby. Playing for Wales at the Commonwealth Games was a goal of his, so on he comes. Trying to fit into the structure of the Wales Sevens, which is not easy, even for a player as talented as Tipperick. But he did play Sevens earlier in his career as Sri Lanka break through, and great pace now shown. It's a race for the line, and it's going to be won by Surya Bandara, skating to the corner and gets in. Wonderful try for Sri Lanka, great moment for them. And I said they're not the biggest side in the competition, but gas, pure speed will always get you something in this game. Surya Bandara with a score.
Well, we have to really highlight that Sevens been a game for all sizes. It's about the pace, but the balance when he runs as well. Ethan Davis is no slouch, almost sidesteps himself as he tries to cover. We can see determination from both men. You know, the benefits have been that light. You're going to have pace. Certainly, you need the speed, endurance. And Surya Bandara, he's done it quite a bit regularly when Sri Lanka play their talisman, but clearly capable, and he's got ball in hand.
You know, they're trying to get rugby, and particularly rugby sevens, going in Sri Lanka. Surya Bandara plays for the Kandy club in that city, and there are a couple of clubs in Colombo as well.
Yeah, just seeing here the new, really strict regulation. You only have 30 seconds from when the try is scored to take the restart.
And the referee just making that clear there against Sri Lanka. Perhaps not quite as experienced as some of the other sides, and just dawdling over the conversion. To be honest, it would have been a stretch to convert from that side anyway. And things going the way of Sri Lanka now. Penalty quickly taken by Dharmapala, and then given on to Mututanta, the captain, who's chopped around the feet and then gets away to Dharmapala again. But stripped illegally so, and Sri Lanka
He's on his knees.
chance to creep back into this game further.
Well, we see Tipuric just how effective he can be in breakdown there, but referee deeming both knees were on the floor and tackle was indeed completed. This is an exciting moment now. The Sri Lankans need to try and get in to score here to make it really exciting last 2.5 minutes, but they've got to do it without that power play. They've got to try and create space. Yes, the red line of the Welsh defence organised. A bit of a juggle from Pereira, gets it away though. And an opportunity now for Wiratunga. Ball goes back, didn't go back. Ratwati seized upon it, but it had been spilled forwards. And that opportunity is gone. I think that was perhaps the opportunity that Sri Lanka needed to convert to make this. Just to create a few more nerves in the Welsh side. Just went forward as Ratwati ran onto it.
Crouch. Bind. Sit.
Peter Wood, the man who's charged with trying to get Sri Lankan Sevens rugby going. Wales attacking from deep on, and the gathered at the second attempt by Angus O'Brien. Smashing into contact there. Arms high from Tipuric, using that power that he has. Sri Lankan defence swarming all over Ben Roach. Amos and Tipuric move it out again. And Wales with an opportunity out wide. It went backwards, says the referee, so Wales fine to try again, but Sri Lanka not slipping off the tackles, despite the fact that Wales have that power advantage, and now there might be a bit of space out wide, and support is there, and the try should be there. Another one finally for Wales and Ben Roach. It's been a while since the last score, but Roach will stroll this one in. They can take a moment as well, if nobody's coming back, to put him under pressure to dot that ball down. Time for a breather.
Time for the boos. The Aussie crowd not appreciating that whatsoever, but that's gamesmanship. Such an exhausting game. If you can take 10-20 seconds to recover, you rightly do it. Ben Roach showing his ability out wide. Amos throws it out. Lovely wide ball. Tipuric in space. This is what we want to see. Justin Tipuric showing his abilities as a back row forward. Linking play, giving the ball to Roach, grinding out those yards. Referee casually shooting him behind, showing how fit they are, but rode the pressure from the Sri Lankans, the Welsh, and get that all-important score to build up the confidence, finding what's going to be an interesting game later on against Fiji.
Yeah, that will be an entirely different game against men in white and black shirts. Fascinating watching Tipuric play, you know, who is relatively speaking one of the smaller forwards that you'll find in the international 15s game, but he's a giant in this format. And Wales an opportunity into the final seconds to try and score again. Again, the tackles are robust enough, but it's carried on by Ethan Davis, and then support is there, and try once more. Ethan Davis runs it in himself. So Wales finishing in fine style, but you'd have to say, and hopefully not in any condescending way, that Sri Lanka have played well, scored a couple of good tries, and just for a moment in the second half will have given Wales pause for thought.
Yeah, definitely, and I think this Welsh team are building towards the big event, and for people watching Wales Sevens who perhaps haven't seen much before, they've got a real roll call of stars that have played the game. Tibrick being one of them, Mike Phillips, Shane Williams, Jamie Robertson, a lot, and this Welsh team need to grow, they need to stick together, and that's a good performance from them.
A good victory in the end for Wales. They move on to that, say, far more serious encounter, the one which will decide this pool, Pool D. They play against Fiji in about 4 hours' time, but Wales handsome victors over Sri Lanka here, 42 points to 12.